Man United's season just went from bad to worse, I guess. Manchester United won, Fulham won, but Manchester United go out on penalties in the FA Cup, which means the defending champions' journey ends there for the FA Cup. And Ruben Amorim, if it wasn't already bad, then boy oh boy, it's probably gonna get worse in the coming days. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. We got a lot to talk about because they gave us 120 minutes of football, and I saw some things that I liked, but I saw a lot of stuff that I didn't like. So we're gonna talk about all of that. So like I said, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. Let's start off with, I think, the biggest elephant in the room in a positive way is that Chido Obi cameo. He offered a lot more than what Rasmus Højlund has offered in the last number of games. I think that's now 18 games in a row that Rasmus Højlund has failed to score in. His last game, the last goal, that he scored in a game was against Victoria Pleasant back in December. Now we are in March, guys. We are in March, and he's yet to actually score in the 2025 calendar year. But just on Chido Obi today, firstly, it seems like Ruben Amorim entrusted him a lot earlier in comparison to previous games. As you lot noticed, the last game he had about 10 or so minutes. Today he came on a lot earlier in the second half than what I would have anticipated. Maybe it's because of what Rasmus Højlund was doing or what he wasn't doing. I think watching Rasmus Højlund again today, I just noticed the same thing over and over again. I think he doesn't have the football intelligence of what the centre forward position maybe requires in Manchester United at the moment. I think this idea that United are not creating enough. Sometimes if the team's not creating for you, you should be able to also create your own opportunities. But he doesn't do that, and that's why I'm talking about the intelligence side of the game, because that's where I think he fundamentally lacks quite a lot today. Anderson, Calvin Bassey, I think they had their hands I think they were quite comfortable throughout most of the game up until Chido Obi came on. And even though Chido Obi was feeding off of scraps sometimes and also, was making the right runs, he was also just occupying the back line. And that's what you want a centre forward to do. That's what you want a striker to do. If you're not in front of goal, if you're not getting those chances in front of goal, just be a nuisance for the back line. And Chido did exactly that. And Rasmus doesn't do that. I'll be very interested to see what Ruben Amorim kind of decides in terms of, the next coming games, who's going to be the starting centre forward. I still think, when I watch Chido, he's so raw in a lot of his attributes, and he looked quite nervous. I could see the nervousness on him when he would get the ball. His touch might be a bit heavy, but one thing I noticed is the second chances that he doesn't give up on. He's always making, pressing, causing a nuisance for the back line. Just that all-rounded centre forward play. He's kind of showcasing that, even if it's at a minimum, it's more than what Rasmus Højlund has been given. And like I said, I'm very interested to see what Amorim does in terms of this centre forward position, because honestly, guys, I'm not being funny, but to be 18 games in without a goal, there's only so much that I can question your teammates for, and I'm going to start to question the striker as well. And that's why I say I'm questioning Rasmus Højlund again. Today I watched his decision making subpar, below what you would expect from a top level footballer, and another player that I think doesn't have that decision making in comparison to maybe other players is Alejandro Garnacho, another player coming off the bench today. And I don't know if you lot notice it, but every time Manchester United are level and they're going for a winner, I feel like Garnacho's decision making turns into greed, where he just keeps going for goal. It's like he sees his name in lights. And today he had quite some chances. He had one particular chance that I think he should have done better. He had pressure from two players on him, so he takes it with the weaker foot on his left foot. But equally with saying that, there's a lot of decisions that he makes today that I think if any other player makes a different decision, where trying to find the pass instead, or put a dangerous ball in, or put a good ball in, then I think the outcome could potentially be different. Or maybe even striking the ball a bit cleaner when you're in front of goal, or when you're getting that shot in front of goal, trying to hit the target. I just feel like sometimes we misunderstand passion for greed. I'm starting to see a lot of greed in some players at Manchester United right now, and I can put that down to intelligence, and I can just put that down to them being completely greedy. Honourable mention today goes to Matthias de Ligt, because I think by a mile he was probably Manchester United's best player for 120 minutes or so. Playing in that wide channel is not always his strong suit, especially that right-sided centre-back role, but I think he did really well today, commanding the box. His box defending is very good, but his ability to read the game in front of him, the diagonal passes, the switch passes that a lot of pundits say that Maguire does it so well and De Ligt can't do it. Well, he did it today, albeit it didn't result in anything, for Manchester United in terms of winning the game, but he's showing you that he has these different kind of passes in his locker that Manchester United can utilize. And again, another player, Lenny Yoro as well, when he was playing in the wide channels, I liked both of them. I felt like the game shifted on its head when Victor Lindelof came on and Casemiro came on as well, and I actually think Casemiro was the catalyst for a lot of energy that Manchester United had in the middle of the pitch. Christian Eriksen is an interesting one because I think he's a quality player, but he's a quality player for slow games, games where United will dominate the possession. A player like Christian Eriksen is perfect. Games where teams are going to sit in a low block, Christian Eriksen is perfect. And the fact that it's not a demanding kind of position for him if Manchester United are dominating possession, because he doesn't have the energy to play for 90 minutes plus. But like I said, Casemiro for me was a catalyst in the midfield. The only downside is that when Manchester United had opportunities to hit on the break, you have Chido with a bit of nerves in the middle, and you have Garnacho making that run on the left-hand channel, and then you got Xerxes that's kind of naturally dropping a lot deeper behind the two of them. It just never gave Man United the opportunity to hit counters prolifically, if you want to say that. It gave them a few opportunities for counters, but not a lot of counters. And Casemiro was always trying to look up and find that pass. However, and just one other thing. Who else but Bruno Fernandes? I don't know how this conversation about Bruno Fernandes is still ongoing. Out of all the problems that Manchester United have, and boy, do Man United have so many problems, I don't understand how Bruno Fernandes seems to be made out to be like the biggest problem at Manchester United. Generally, I don't know, man. Let me know your thoughts down below. I know you lot have probably seen the discourse surrounding this. But listen, Man United are out of the FA Cup, and like I said, football is all about results. It's a results-based business, and Ruben Amorim, I think, is running, the FA Cup was a lifeline for him to kind of get him to the summer. This is not me saying that he needs to be sacked. It's just the way that I'm looking at it from a neutral perspective. The FA Cup and any sort of cup glory gives him time to get to the summer. And he's said it himself many times in press conferences that he just needs to get results to get to the summer, to get to the transfer window, to be able to bring in his players, to be able to have a pre-season, and then to start a full season, in control in comparison to coming in the middle of the season. This has now just led to, I think, eyes on Ruben Amorim. Now, I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm going to be totally honest. Look at the bench that Manchester United had today. 7 players on the bench. In football, you can name 9 players on the bench. Man United named 7 players on the bench. 2 of them were goalkeepers, which meant that Ruben Amorim, by the time it got to like the 100 and something minute, Ruben Amorim had used all 5 of his outfield players that was on his bench because of this injury problem that Manchester United have, because of, Patrick Dogu getting suspended as well, because of the fact that Man United didn't bring in any resurgences in the January transfer window. He is making use of what he has. And just quickly before, because I know people are going to talk about what is the Ruben Amorim style of football, etc. Man United shifted to a back 4 in the latter stages of the game, which I think actually allowed Man United to have a lot more control in the Fulham game. Now, if you look at the first half in particular, I felt like it's just the expectation was Patrick Dogu is playing on the left, so Man United naturally were shifting to the left, playing it out to the left. Diogo Dalot is not a left wing back. He offers nothing. If anything, Manchester United regress with having him at wing back. I know he got the assist for the Bruno goal, but today multiple times the attack just breaks down on the left channel. However, if a player like Patrick Dogu was there, which we've seen already the quality that he adds on the left-hand side, I think it would have been maybe a different story in terms of the first half. And because I'm mentioning the first half, because that's where I feel like Manchester United were probably the most Ruben Amorim stylish type of football throughout the entire game. And this is for the people that say that Ruben Amorim doesn't change and he doesn't adapt. You saw it today. He adapted to a back 4, and yes, circumstances may have led to that, and Victor Lindelof and De Ligt and Maguire and Aiden Heaven coming on and Maguire eventually going off, etc, etc. Circumstances led to that, but don't have this idea that Ruben Amorim is very stern in his way. We've seen today he is able to adapt to the game, and the result, listen, penalties is one of them ones where if you are not confident, the goalkeeper can sniff it from you from a mile away. And Victor Lindelof, when he stepped up for the penalty, I said to myself, he's going to miss. I knew it. He did not look confident. Throughout the game, he didn't look confident. I don't think he's looked confident for a long time. And having him step up for a penalty, I think Ruben Amorim chose to go with the most senior players taking penalties. And then Joshua Zirkzee eventually missing his one when he had to score to kind of keep Man United in it. Equally with saying that, I had no expectation from Onana to save the penalty. Personally, that's just my opinion. But as I said, Manchester United won, Fulham won, but they go through on penalties and the defending champions are out of the FA Cup. And Ruben Amorim, all eyes are on him now, because Europa League, genuinely speaking, guys, it's make or break. It's make or break for Ruben Amorim. And if Man United do go out to Real Sociedad in the Europa League, I'm scared for what the potential future holds for Ruben Amorim. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to hit the like button. If you are new here, please do subscribe.